everybody. Welcome to Spirit Coffee Talk. Happy Friday. My name is Lisa Richmond. I'm joined by Elyse and Ginette, and we are the mediums and channelers and beautiful ladies from Avalon Spirit. And we meet every Friday for coffee, and we talk spirit. So welcome.
I missed you guys last week.
Yes.
I missed it, actually.
Lonely.
I did.
I missed it so much. Elyse, you killed it, though. You did so awesome. I watched. I was so happy for you. I'm like, yes, you did it all by yourself.
After the somatic thing, I was just not in this planet, so I didn't. It's like, well, that's
great.
Wrap that up, and off we go.
That's amazing, though.
That's funny.
And how was your trip, Ginette?
Oh my gosh, Mexico was amazing. We had such a fun family time. Like we were so immersed into 3D. And the cool thing was, besides the card readings or YouTube videos that I do, besides those, Spirit would not come in. And if I would ask them like, hey, where are you guys? Because, you know, as we all know, we all chat regularly to Spirit. They were like, now is your 3D time. And so they just like pulled way back, and we were full on in 3D, swimming with dolphins, doing this snuba thing where you put like this helmet on your head and you walk underwater and the dolphins swim around you also. What? And and we did like so many
dolphin experience. Hey?
Oh my gosh, they were amazing. They were amazing. Like, and they love to look at you.
Like, could you?
No, I couldn't again. Like, it was so 3D.
I had to. I had to do Ace Ventura. I'm sorry. I had to.
You have to be at one with the dolphin.
Call you at home.
Totally. Oh man.
Oh, God.
But you know what I thought was so interesting with the dolphins is they loved to look at you. Like they would swim by and they can't like swivel their neck fully, but they would swim by and their eyes would lock eyes with you as they swim by, but in like the most gentle way. Like they reminded me of my dog Maddie, like of water Maddies.
Sure.
Right? Like, and their eyes would look at you, and it was just this kindred soul feeling. I assumed it would be more like deeply spiritual, but it was like a kindred spirit.
Playful. Yeah.
Yeah, like I see you and I see you see me. Let's play.
Oh,
right? Like it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that for you.
Mexico was good. Mexico was good. But what I wanted to know with you guys is, how are you feeling from the energy of last weekend to the energy now of stepping into this weekend? Because we have the moon coming up.
Full moon on Sunday, right?
On Sunday, the snow moon.
Mm-hmm.
And how are you guys feeling about this moon? What's your experience of it? And I'll explain why I'm asking this, but I want to know what you guys think first.
Well, I don't know if that's connected with my severe headache that is coming in for no reason at all. Do you guys get affected with the moon with your headache? So I feel like I can physically feel it. So I've got a really bad headache and I'm not sleeping well. And that usually happens with the full moon a couple days ahead. So physically I can absolutely feel it. What about you, Elyse? Anything coming up?
Yeah, I have a headache as well this morning. We're also having a really intense weather change, like really randomly.
Maybe that's what it is.
Oh,
Which is yesterday was minus 44 and today's like minus 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That could be it.
And I do agree that the moon sometimes, for me, it's like powerful moons give me headaches. So I don't, not every full moon for me feels the same or like I get the same experience. But then if I'm starting to feel a lot physically, then it's like, ooh boy, like settle up, because there's things coming with it for me. And it kind of seems like, especially now that we're in February and there's that kind of forward momentum energy that feels really fast and furious, but it feels like everybody, whether it's like people that I talk to or even in my own experience, we're all kind of at different spots with how that energy is working with us. So for me right now, I feel really discombobulated because I can feel this energy coming in and there's things aligning to get certain balls rolling. And yet, like I was saying to you guys before, like my automatic things that I do every day, I'm like, where is my coffee cups? How do I put my hair in a towel? Like it's like I'm doing things for the first time all of a sudden. Like I feel very disoriented.
Like between timelines.
Yeah.
Like you said, like in a different timeline where things aren't how they normally are for you.
Yeah. I'm kind of like in the middle, and then and I can feel the potential of the one coming. I can feel what was of the old one. And I'm in the middle, like, what's happening? I don't know where I'm going. Like even
in between.
Even driving this morning to a place that I drive a million times, I missed my turn. And then I was late. And then like it just these things. So for me, I'm feeling really kind of ungrounded and discombobulated a little bit and like out of sorts. Not necessarily in a bad way, just like, what is happening? Where am I?
That is so interesting. Do you get any hits on that, She?
Well, what's interesting is, okay, so Spirit was telling me the reason why I was asking this question is my guides were saying, notice what the moon is doing for people. So notice what it is bringing up, because the moon is in Leo. So Leo's a fire sign, fiery, but also playful. So it's like bringing up passion, purpose, but also for some, it is feeling like a hot poker being poked in their side, right? And they're feeling the burn and the trigger. But the moon will essentially, this moon, being it's in the energy of February, this movement energy, it will, Spirit said, this moon will shine a light on what it is we need to see. And then they're saying feel or experience. So see, feel, or experience. So it's going to be very different for everybody, because for me, the moon or the energy is shining a light on forward momentum, which as much as I'm excited by it, I'm also like, really? Because I'm used to like jumping, dodging, crushing obstacles, rolling, like retreat. Like I'm used to running this obstacle course. And now they're like, no, you have a clearer path. And I find that I'm like, really? Or like I feel that kind of a momentum. And so I'm anticipating all the obstacles of this obstacle course. Whereas other people I feel are being triggered. Other people I feel are being massively inspired. Like they're almost feeling like manic with ideas and ideas and ideas. And how do I do this? Which one do I do? And then other people are feeling kind of like you were saying, Elyse, in a standstill, yet they feel the momentum all around them. But they're like, where am I in it? Like they're in the center of a tornado of movement and they can't quite get into the flow of it. So it's very individualized is how this moon really seems. Instead of like one sort of blanket statement, it feels very individualized. But with an energy of motion or that fire element, which makes us want to move or do something. So I find this moon is very interesting. Very, very interesting. So yeah, what do you, besides the kind of headache, are you feeling any other things, Lisa, with the moon?
Well, to be honest, I'm asking for clarity. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, if this is going to present something to me, can it be clarity? Can it be fun? Like, I'd like to have the moon shine light on my playful parts and my silliness. And, you know, like I would like to lighten up. I would like it to shine light on me so that I can lighten up.
That's great though. That's Leo energy too. Is that playful energy?
Yeah, Leo energy for me is a bit triggering though. So when you said Leo, I was like, ugh, I'm sorry. This is no offense to actual Leos. But I mean like the Leo energy is super triggering for me.
Yeah. I feel that way about Scorpio energy. Again, not to Scorpios, but the energy of Scorpio moons. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, see, Scorpio is like, for me, I'm like, okay, we can tango kind of thing.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah, Leo, I'm like, standoff.
Interesting.
Like, because it's so masculine to me. That's my trigger with it, is that the masculine energy of it. And, like, I'm so done with that. I'm so done with like working through the feminine versus masculine energy. I'm so done with it. Being confronted with shadow masculine, like I'm over it. Can we not? Can we just
Yeah.
not anymore? Like,
And
globally,
again,
haven't we done this enough? Can we just not
Yeah.
anymore?
and just to be clear, we're not talking about male versus female. We're not, giving a bad rap to men. When we say that, it can be embodied in the feminine, it can be embodied in an energy. But there is a lot of shadow masculine coming up. But didn't something come up? Was it last year or was it for this year? I feel like it was last year. That was
When we were
big on the
talking
shadow
about-
masculine.
Yeah, that was last year. I was
was
still in
last
BC when we were talking about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
So maybe there's some
Mhm.
like forgiveness pieces maybe there for me in that triggering of the Leo energy and the masculine. Like I'm just kind of putting this all together. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, what's coming to mind for me with that is a lot of people, we probably talked about it. I don't remember, but other, folks out there are doing predictions for 2023 and what's the energy going to be towards the end of last year. There was a lot of conversation about like saddle up because more is coming. Like when we look collectively at the last couple of years, it's like, okay, we've got to have like gotten our shit together. And then it's like, oops, actually there's going to be a few more things. And we're still in, this 4 years of don't, get yourself too cozy just yet. But there's this, I really feel like I'm seeing out in the world, like all of these weird things happening that people are talking about. Like, are we in an episode of Black Mirror or like what's happening? Like, it just feels like there's such weird stuff going on in the world right now that can be scary or confronting or all of the different things. And I really feel like it's shining that spotlight on more and more and more things that we as a collective society need to change that will serve collective society better as a whole. And they're also, my brain sees and reads these things and is like, and I get overwhelmed and I get that frustration with the shadow masculine and all of these things. Like even I read something the other day, or I heard something the other day where people were talking about how all of psychology based from the masculine, white, old dude perspective.
Totally.
And that our normal psychology diagnoses, the way we expect people to behave normally from a psychological perspective is based on a male ideology. And I was like, shit, yeah, that doesn't take into account women's hormones or people of color or, non-conforming people, like any of that. Minority. It's like, this one perspective and
generational
like
trauma, like none of it.
None of it is taken into account in these like psychological ideologies that we all exist in. And like, that's bananas, actually. Like when we think of how big of a piece of our society that is, it's kind of a little bit crazy. So all to say, I think we're going to see more of these things, and my brain gets really confronted and gets really like a little grumpy, especially if I'm feeling extra taxed and drained that day.
Yeah.
And yet I am finding this year, and it's not to like bypass the discomfort because I didn't feel this as much last year. I am feeling like, okay, but we've got this. Like there's a societal, we've got this and we are going to be okay. And things are going to continue to shift, maybe uncomfortably for a little bit. Shadow masculine stuff is going to come up, maybe shadow feminine stuff. Who knows what fun there's in store. And I do feel at peace with it, which I honestly didn't feel as much last year. It was still there, but it feels a bit more grounded this year, which is giving me a little bit of hope. Yeah. Not a little bit of hope, a lot of hope.
I agree.
I have cards on it.
I have a channel coming through.
Yay!
Yeah. So I was almost just going to close my eyes. I'm like, they'll just finish talking. And I'm like, no, people will be like,
put Ginette
did Ginette fall asleep?
Ginette is going night-nights.
I know, right? Ginette, gone. No. Okay, they're pushing so hard. I was like, I'm going to fall off my chair. How can I do that without anyone noticing?
Out of screen.
We would know exactly what was going on.
Right? Oh
It's
my
fine,
God.
everybody. Jeanette's just having a little sneezy poo.
Okay. Okay, this is going to be rather fast. The reason why this one is so powerful, like my heart is beating out of my chest, I swear, is I have those of the angelic frequency, the angelic realm, behind the three guides of the light. So it's like this big whoosh, like coming forward. But it is the three guides of light speaking. We are the three guides of the light, and we are grateful for this opportunity to come through. We want to share with you a key word for these changing times of transparency. Just as you were speaking of the moon shining a light on something, our word to explain that would be transparency. The things that are triggering you, the things that you are being made aware of, the things that you are being asked to pause and observe, are so that you can see in a form of transparency, see through the illusions on your planet, either within the structures or within the ways in which you've been raised. This transparency is so that once you see through it, you can then choose how you want to rearrange the atomic structure of those things. If you consider thoughts to be like an energy with an atomic structure, you then can rearrange the ways in which those atoms are paired together. Just like when you add certain molecules to another molecule, you create a new one. You can also do this with the energetic structure once you understand what it is you are seeing. So we advise you with this moon to take a look at what is coming forward for you, whether that be joy, patience, triggering, frustration, questioning, clarity, any of the words that you would use to describe how you feel. Use that as your gateway to transparency and notice what comes forward. Notice what is being revealed to you. Elyse was accurate in saying that there are things changing and that the greater aspect of humanity is awakening and can hold this frequency. This is why things will shift and change faster and faster as you continue on this trajectory. The more you pay attention to what is in that transparency for you, the faster you can shift the frequency of your vibration and your reality. This is part of what you would call hacking the matrix. It is more than a matrix, but that is a word that seems to work on your planet, so we will use that. Okay, now as they're stepping back, as the three guides step back, my guides in these ones in the angelic frequency in the form of like a mediumship are coming through, and they're just saying that you know those images we see online of like the planet, you see Earth and then you see beings around it like holding hands of all different religions and all of that. They're saying that is what we're doing. The angelic frequency is going to be more common on our planet. More people will experience that frequency of connection, whether people start to say they see angels. And I mean, not all angels or that frequency, we know it as angels, right? That's what we've been told. That's how they've been described. Their energy is often described as wings. Therefore, they'll show themselves as wings so that we can understand in our mind who they are. But they're not limited to that. There's so much more. And in that angelic realm, there are many dimensions and realms too. So I just want to say that. But that frequency of consciousness is more and more available on our planet to inspire people, to protect people, to bring guidance to those that are really opening up to it. And it's not limited to only those. I mean, if someone is blind to it, but it is not their exit time, then they may have this miraculous situation. But they're saying they're coming in with more support. There's more support available as we get into this faster ticking ascension clock. Like I see the spiral spinning faster and faster as we go up, especially in this year. So I just want to share that too. So if we bring that back to the moon message, what becomes transparent to us is being revealed so that we can dive in and explore it more and get to know it more and then choose what we want to do with it in all of the ways. And here's one other thing that they're showing me too, is not everyone will be, say somebody has a trigger with this moon, that doesn't mean that's your only thing. You may have a trigger, but right beside the trigger, say your trigger takes up 80% of the space, right beside the trigger, you may have a 20% size transparency on how far you've come. or your success, or like a beautiful synchronistic event of how you change someone's life. Like that is also being made transparent. So it's not just one thing or just a trigger or just a good thing. Something else may be revealed that, oh, maybe I need to work on this. Although 70% of things are good, right? Like there's multiples in it also. So don't discount the smaller ones from the bigger ones.
Thank you for bringing that
Much
through.
better now. Yes. Any thoughts?
So as you were talking at the beginning about Mexico and how, you know, amazing it was and 3D it was and all of this, there was some stuff coming up for me around like how beautiful 3D can be. Like I think sometimes in spiritual world we talk about like 3D and sometimes yes, because it can be very ego and very trauma based and very like, you know, shadow masculine, shadow feminine and all of these things. And there's still a lot of beauty in, and I mean, we're here because we're human. We chose to be human. There's still so much beauty in the 3D form. And I just, when you were talking about Mexico and how wonderful it was, and it wasn't this like crazy spiritual trip, but it was just beautiful family time and so much fun and all of this amazingness. And so that was coming up for me when you were talking about that. And then as you were just talking about, you know, the amazing channel and then what the angels were saying, what was kind of coming through for me again, connected to that was we are being supported. And there's this, sometimes it feels exhausting that we always have to say like, a light is being shone on your triggers and traumas, and you need to go into them to hold space and transmute. Like we've been doing that, guys, for like years. Maybe not everybody, maybe not all of us to a degree, but like we're tired. Like it's not to say that we all haven't already been doing that. We signed up for this time and space where it's just coming fast and furious right now. And it's intense. And for me, you know, I know I often take this kind of, or I share this message in Spirit Coffee Talk is like, to do that, we have to embrace our humanness and like the challenge and the pain and the joy and the beauty and the, you know, for me, when I hear these messages, I'm like, yes. And it like, to avoid the tough feelings, I sometimes want to just go up and be like, okay, and I can feel the beauty and the angels are here and they're wrapping their arms around us and this is beautiful. And it's like, yes. And I kind of let myself lift off the ground a little bit to avoid feeling the hard stuff because I'm tired of the hard stuff. Like we've had enough hard stuff. Our resilience is low, spiritually, emotionally, physically. Like we're tired. We want some ease, peace, ease, and grace, please. That's, you know, what I've been asking for the last month. And so all to say, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this. Maybe just to acknowledge and say like, the more we can, as much as it's exhausting, the more we can drop into our experience, what we resist persists. So the more we can drop into it in a safe way, in a supportive way, that isn't just like sitting in the muck, but is also allowing ourselves to feel what we're going to feel, the more we can keep balanced in the processing of our triggers, the work that we're doing, staying afloat in what feels like, you know, the biggest ocean with the biggest storm that we've been in for however many years now. I think the more we can do that, the more it's this like ironic thing where we resist something because we're like, I don't have the energy to go there anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. And then it creates more stress in our bodies, which further depletes our resilience, which gives us even less space to hold space for the hard things that come up. And it makes those things seem 1,000 times worse than maybe they even are. Not to say there aren't hard things happening. There absolutely are. But it might be that, you know, I'm annoyed at my dog because she won't go to the bathroom fast enough this morning. And that's creating more of this experience for me. And I can't see the perspectives. I can't step back and see the higher perspective or feel the angelic presence or feel these things because I'm just so tired and wrapped up in the muck and I just want to avoid it because I can't do anymore. So it's like, it's kind of this self-fulfilling prophecy of the more we resist it, the more it's going to persist, the worse it's going to feel for us, because our brain will see things as harder and more challenging than maybe they even are. And we also can create resilience by like allowing ourselves to process the things. So it's like, it's an annoying message of, you know, we going into it isn't just to like stay stuck in our traumas and feel shitty all the time. Going into it truly is to support ourselves, and we can find perspective and we can find healing there, and we can find resilience restored there, while also tapping into those higher energies. And it's kind of, I don't know if any of that made sense, but it just is.
No, it does. And there's one other thing I want to add to that, because I think that's a beautiful point. Sometimes even going into the triggers is to realize that you're over it. Or that it doesn't apply anymore. Because sometimes we can get caught in a trigger and we're like, okay, there's more work to do, more work to do, more work to do. Maybe for some people, the transparency is that story's done, right? I don't need to go into that anymore. I don't need to rehash that. That's actually complete. So sometimes when we're like, oh, this again, I don't want to be triggered by this again. Maybe if you have a look, you're going to realize that, oh, it's done. I can close that book, put it away. So again, if we resist it, it will persist and we continue to feel it's a current thing, but maybe in fact it's not.
And even doing the work can look like feeling really low and crying your eyes out for 5 minutes and then moving on with your day. Maybe that's what it is. It's not always the deep shadow work and the journaling and the therapy and all the things. It is those things. And it's like, I feel like a bag of garbage today and I am a grumpy hot mess, and I am going to let myself be a grumpy hot mess, and I'm going to yell into my pillow and watch Netflix for the rest of the night. Maybe that's what it is. And that can be embracing too. Yep.
I think it's really honoring whatever it is you need, right? Like honor what you need.
And honor also that maybe you don't, if you need to step away from it and you need to go up, then go up. If you need to drop into your, feelings, then drop into your feelings. There's,
What do you have there, Lisa?
I did just kind of like a general pull on the energy of this, what we've been talking about with the moon, like just kind of what, I guess. So it started with a 3 of Pentacles. So cooperation, working together. The fact that there's 3 of us, I always think that's kind of neat. Then I have the Queen of Cups, and I feel like that's just exactly Ginette that just did a channel.
Oh,
seriously, it's like the 3 of us coming together and figuring it all out. Then Ginette does the channel, and then I got the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles literally jumps out of the deck every single time I do a pull.
I mean,
I don't know.
King of Pentacles, it can have so many meanings. It can be like you becoming a master of your domain, Pentacles being really earthly 3D. It can represent a father figure. It can represent the masculine in your 3D world or your embodiment of it. But the thing to notice with the King of Pentacles is looking at how casually and comfortably he's sitting with his wolf energy. Meaning like he can either be viewed as something intimidating, or you can actually approach him as that energy of wisdom, of harmony with like nature and all things. He's at harmony with the earth. The white beard, the white hair represents the wisdom in that. So there's many ways to look at it. What do you think it's, how do you think it pertains to the
as
message?
you're saying that, for me, I feel like we talked about the full moon being in like a Leo, and how I'm like, that's really triggering for me, because it's like I'm really doing all this work with the masculine energy. And so I think that's probably what it means. It's just like having that balance with the masculine, and I don't know. I don't even want to look at it.
Yeah. And then, maybe that's the safe masculine, is that comes through the earth.
Maybe.
Right? Like the Gaia energy of masculine, what is it? Like hunter, father sage. So the sage energy, the wise sage, right? Like we talk about the crone and the divine mother. It's the divine father of the sage energy on earth. Yeah.
And then the overall theme is the Four of Wands, which is kind of just like a celebration.
Ooh, that's nice. Yeah.
You know, brittle truth, I've been pulling cards every day. I light my incense, I pull my cards, and then I put them away every day feeling like, well, I have no idea what the heck that means for myself. Like, I have no clarity whatsoever on this. But I still pull them.
I know, hey?
I still pull them.
There's sometimes where I will pull regularly, and then sometimes I will just stop.
Yeah.
And I just put them away for like 2 weeks. Don't even touch them. And just like connect back into me, like just me kind of thing. And then almost like start again. I don't know. That's my method anyways. When the cards are just like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Or like I'll put them away for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, any last minute thoughts or suggestions at all pertaining to the moon that comes through?
I think I'm more interested in how it's going to go, and I would like to discuss it next Friday. Let's put a pin in it, and let's talk about how it felt.
Okay.
Because as of now, I feel like it's more of an anticipatory kind of thing versus like, I want to feel this, and then I'll get back to you on this one.
Yeah. Okay. How about you, Elyse?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how it will go and what will come of it. The one thing, so I pulled cards from the Forest deck. I haven't been using it much lately. And so first card was the Raven Spirit or Truth. So exactly what we've been talking about. Here are your truths. And then the second two, because when I first pulled them, I was like, I don't know. I mean, it's great, but whatever, is gratitude and then enlightenment. But what I think is interesting about both of these is that there's a light shining down.
We can't fully see it.
Yeah. So there's like, you can
you
see this, backwards, this light, there's a light. And then this one, the whole thing, there's a light shining down and from behind. And this one has a light shining from behind.
Ooh.
So it's like, there's energy, like, you know, that moon is shining from all kind of different directions to tell us truths, give us some, backwards, enlightenment, and to have some gratitude for that, which this is the one that I was like, sometimes it's hard to have gratitude for these really hard things in the moment. Maybe we get to this point, right? Maybe after the fact, we can kind of step back and have some gratitude. Or as you were saying, Ginette, it's gratitude for, I've actually moved through X, Y, and Z. This is not something I'm carrying anymore. I just needed to kind of finally put it down. The backpack's empty, but I can now take it off. Yeah. We shall see.
Last thing I want to say real quick, my guides were saying, really as a helpful tool with this moon, utilize the element of water to dampen the flame or the fire energy of Leo. So, you know, connecting into spirit in the bath or with water, the sound of water, washing your hands, you know, your intentions on water, cleansing your energy with water right now is really big. And that actually came through in some of the readings I did last week too. So use water to amplify whatever or cleanse whatever with this moon.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
All right then.
Well,
amazing.
Thank you for that. Thank you for all of this, ladies. And happy Friday. And I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend and enjoys this moon. And yeah, let's get some feedback too. I love the comment section. I love when people connect with us in the comment section. So if something resonated, let us know. If you have questions on anything, like start the conversation. I love it. And we'll chat next week about how it all went. So thanks everybody again and have a fabulous week and enjoy the full moon in Leo.